So welcome today. This is our in the kitchen. If you're too tired to cook, but you're looking for some sweet treats that are actually good for you, then you are in the right place. And we may have a smaller group today because it is Independence Day, 4th of July in the US. And I'm sure there's lots of people that are out enjoying, celebrating, maybe out at barbecues today. And we are doing a strawberry shortcake homage. This is our take on plant-based whole food strawberry shortcake. And it's a frozen version, so you can pop the little bites into the freezer. And when you want a little bit of a sweet treat, you just take one or two out, and it's so good for you as well. Absolutely 100% good for you. All right, so ladies, let's get going today with our frozen strawberry shortcake bites. So I'm going to move me back here so you can see me in my kitchen. Look, I got my cup of tea out for my strawberry shortcake bites. I know it doesn't go with the frozen ones. All right, everything is good now, and we'll see if anybody else joins. I am using both my Vitamix and my food processor today, but I can guarantee you this will take you 20 minutes to make in the kitchen. That's it. It's very simple to make. So I'm going to do 3 layers. You could do 2 layers. You could even just do 1 layer if you really wanted to. So I'm going to have a crust on the bottom, which is like the cake part. We're going to have a little strawberry jam in the middle, which you could do optional. And then we've got our creamy strawberry mousse, if you will, on the top. And I'm going to start by making the jam that goes in the middle. You can use frozen or fresh berries. And right now in Ontario and maybe in other places in Canada, this is the time when you go berry picking. I know for sure in Ontario, there's lots of pick your strawberries right now. I found these amazing fresh strawberries at the farmer's market and brought them home, and they were just perfect for eating. But 2 days later, they weren't all eaten, and they look a little bit bruised, and some of them look like they're good for eating, but other ones look like they're still good, but they don't look exactly the freshest for eating. They're starting to get a little shriveled. And so those are perfect for this. So I'm going to use fresh because I have fresh, and I'm using my Vitamix. You're going to need your tamper today if you have a Vitamix, because for sure when we make our mousse, it's going to need the tamper. This one, not so much. All I've got is a little bit of berries. So this is about a cup of berries. I'm going to add some chia seeds, just a teaspoon, not a lot. So this will give it a little bit of body and some fiber. And then you could add some dates, but I'm going to use a little bit of maple syrup for the sweetener, just because this one I don't want to really have to mix it for a long time. But if you take dates and make like a date paste out of it, then that's perfect as well. So I would probably soak the dates, and just 1 date is more than enough. And I'm going to add a little bit of lemon, just some lemon juice. And I've got a little strainer here to add my lemon juice, because I do not like when the pits or the seeds fall into just a squeeze here of lemon. We'll give it a brighten up the taste, give it a little acidic flavoring, and that's it. And I'm just going to blend this just to make it blend it up a little bit. This one goes all over the place. And that's why I like to use the maple syrup for this one, because then I just need to blend it enough that my strawberries are blended up and crushed. You could crush them just crush them up with a spoon or a fork and mash them. I'm just going to leave that on the side, and the chia seeds will absorb some of the liquid and it'll thicken up as we do that. And while we're waiting for that, just putting it on the side, we're going to make our crust. And this is a pretty kind of standard crust for raw food, plant-based kind of desserts. I'm going to use my food processor. I have a cup of oatmeal here. Oh, yeah. So this is a cup of oat flakes, oatmeal. I'm going to add that in. And if you guys know, if you've been watched any of my videos, I like the Farmers I Know brand. It is sprouted, which gives more nutrients to it. They say it's glyphosate free, and glyphosate is one of the most toxic pesticides that is used in our food production. And it's pretty much everywhere. They spray it everywhere. And if you're familiar with Roundup, which is actually banned in most places in Canada, I know in Ontario it's banned. So it's glyphosate free. It's also gluten free. And you would say, why would oats have gluten in them? And the answer is they don't, but they typically are stored in the same vats and places that other grains that do have gluten are stored. And if you have or know somebody who's has celiac disease, that just even having something that's been around the gluten can be very detrimental for your health. So I like that brand, is great. I've also got half a cup of walnuts here. And then I'm going to add, I pitted 4 dates and then I cut it into little cubes so that it can be dispersed quicker in my food processor. And I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to this. And that's it. I think the recipe says you could add a little bit of sea salt. I don't do that. I try and be salt free. If you wanted to add a little bit, I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I'm going to add a teaspoon of that. And that's it. And before we do this, I want to talk about the nuts. Nuts should be sprouted. And because they have enzyme inhibitors to keep them fresh so they don't spoil and they don't rot. Because nuts are very high in omega-3s and oils, fatty acids, so they can spoil and go rancid quite quickly. Now, what I'm doing here is I've got a new fresh package of walnuts, and I'm soaking them so I can remove the enzyme inhibitors. Those enzyme inhibitors are actually called anti-nutrients. It prevents us from absorbing the nutrients into our body. And if you can have some digestive issues with it. See, these have been soaking for 2 hours. And I'm just going to show you here while I let Rinthia in. So this is my favorite. I put about fill the mason jar. This is a quart or liter size mason jar. I fill it to about half with the walnuts. And then I fill it up with water and I add this cap. I want to take the cap off so you can see it. This is a sprouting cap that goes on the mason jar. It has holes in the top so that you can add water and drain it all at the same time. I have tried many sprouting apparatus, and this is my favorite one. It's so easy, and it's got these little lips on here, so you can drain it by turning it upside down, and it won't be on the floor, if you will. So and then once I'm going to soak this today, I'll rinse it in about a couple hours and then soak it for about 8 hours in total. And then I'm going to put it in my dehydrator to reconstitute it so it gets back to being crunchy. And then I will have removed all those enzyme inhibitors. And you can see by the color of the water, there's lots of stuff coming off. Walnuts, I think, get the most bang for your buck in terms of the look, how much comes off. The other thing I know with walnuts, when I soak them and I put them in my dehydrator and reconstitute them to remove that liquid that's in the soaking, they taste much better. They have a bitter taste when I taste them before I soak them, but after they actually taste much milder, and they've got all those enzyme inhibitors removed. Now, if you do not have a dehydrator, so I'll put them in the dehydrator probably overnight for 12 hours or so. You can put them on a baking tray. You can add like a tea towel, clean tea towel, put them on there and just let them dry. I've done that before. I think it took me about five days to really get to dry here where I am. And I think it depends, like if you're in a place where it's very arid and dry, yes, it'll take less time. Like for me, it took about 5 days to really get it to dry, but that's another alternative. All right, so we are ready to do our crust now of our frozen strawberry shortcake bites. I've got my dates, walnuts, a little bit of vanilla and oats here, and I'm going to process them now. And I'm processing them until it looks sticky. And you'll see it takes a little bit, but it'll start to clump up a bit. That's when it's ready. So let me do that. So it's not quite ready, but I'm starting to see the edges turn in on themselves. So it's getting close, but I like it till it's almost like it starts to cling to itself. So you can see it's starting to look at the top. I don't know if you could see it. It's starting to look a little uneven. That's because it's starting to cling to itself. So if I take it out, it actually will stick together now. So it sticks together and it is ready for us to make. Now, I have two ways that you can do this. One is with these mini cheesecake pans. I have one of these, and you could also use a muffin tin with a muffin, like a little tin, muffin or cupcake tin with the little inserts. And this way it keeps everything clean and it will come out easy. So I'm just going to run to my freezer because I have some already cooking, if you will. We're going to do double duty here. So this is just a muffin or cake pan, and I'm going to line it with, I'm going to do half in the cake pan and half in the, I can just line it with these cupcake things. You can buy decorative ones if you want. They're pretty cool. These are just paper ones, and then you could add your stuff in there. So that's one way to do it. The other way is my cheesecake pan, which has these little inserts that go into the bottom. And so when the insert is out, let me come closer. I don't want to mess them all up. You can see through. The little insert goes in the bottom. So when I'm ready, I just push from the bottom and my cupcake or my cheesecake will come out. So I bought one of these. I love it. It's great. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take our, let me move this off to the side. I want to take out the blade so I don't cut myself. A little safety there. Put my blade over here. And all I'm going to do is spoon some of this crust into the cupcake holders. So I'm going to do a little bit here. I'll do 3, and then I'll do 3. Same thing if you're doing it into the, just spoon it into your little cupcake holders here, and then you've got enough for 12 cupcakes or bites. I'll do the rest later, and then all I'm going to do is push it down so that it sticks together, and that'll form the little crust on the bottom. I got my 3. I have my 3 here. What I'm doing. You can even them all out. And then I'm just going to tidy up the around the cupcake. Yum. Okay. And then I'm going to add my little jam that I made. So the same thing, I'm just going to spoon a little bit of this out onto the, so you can see it's pretty liquidy. And I'm just going to spoon a little bit out to make this very thin layer on my, on top of the crust. And then you can put this into the freezer to set if you would like. I'm just going to keep on motoring ahead. And I'm letting my cupcake, the ones that I made, the strawberry bites that I made, thaw out a little bit too. While I'm doing this, I'm going to add this, move this over to another dish so that I can reuse this.
It looks good.
And since it's all strawberries, I'm not going to wash this. I don't need to. All right. And then there we can make our filling. So that I'm going to put on the side and finish those later. Yum. Yum. Just going to clean up a little bit here. All right, so let's make our filling. So for the filling, we are going to use half a cup of soaked cashews. Now, if you're allergic to nuts, you can use sunflower seeds are good as well. And on this one, they said also hemp seeds you could use. But I've got cashews today, and I soaked them for 4 hours and drained and rinsed them. And again, the same thing that I showed you with the walnuts and the enzyme inhibitors. By soaking them, you're removing those enzyme inhibitors on them. And so when people say to soak your cashews, it's twofold. One, so that they're soft and they won't be grainy when you in your sauce, or they'll be smooth, but also to remove those enzyme inhibitors. I'm going to add a banana. So this is another way, if you've got a little bit overripe banana, you can add that in as well. And this will give it some sweetness. I'm going to add some dates for more sweetness. I've just got a couple of dates that I cut up. I'll add them in. You don't have to, and you can adjust this for your sweetness. And the beauty of the dates is they have a lot of fiber and minerals and nutrients in them, so that they're good for you. They are low on the glycemic index, which means that our body has to digest them and process them. So that it's not the same as white refined sugar that just goes straight into your bloodstream and spikes your blood sugar. This will not, because it's got all the fiber and other nutrients in it, and we have to digest it. And I've got, of course, strawberries. So this one I'm using frozen strawberries, but again, you can use frozen or fresh. It's about a cup and a half I like to buy frozen sliced strawberries because then they're easier to break up. And then I'm just going to add, similar to our crust, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla because I love vanilla. It's one of my faves. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And that's it. Now for this one, you're definitely going to need your tamper. I'm going to actually pull the outside. So you want to use your tamper to keep it going. Otherwise, you're going to have to scrape down the sides and it will stall, the Vitamix will stall out. But I'm going to do this and use the tamper that came with your Vitamix, because what it will do, there's different sizes, and it makes sure that the tamper does not hit the blades. That's not a good thing to hit the blades. I'm just going to let OJ in. Where's the, I can, give me a sec. All right. So I'm just going to put the lid on. And like I said, because there isn't a lot of liquid in this, we're definitely going to need the tamper. So here we go. So what I do is my Vitamix has a dial on it that's from 1 to 10. And I always start on 1 and I'll start increasing the speed and I'll get it up to 10. And when you get it to the right place, you'll see this vortex in towards the blades. Then that's when you're going to be able to get it nice and creamy. And you can also see this, like when you're watching it on the sides, all the stuff getting mixed in. And you can get a good idea when it's ready. So we have our filling now that we're going to add on top. And by the way, you could just freeze this and eat it just like it is without even making it into a fancy dessert. You just go for it just like that. So I'm just going to add some of this beautiful creamy mousse onto the top. And let's do that. These ones in the cupcake are bigger than the ones in the little tray. Let me do through those 3. And then I could just put them in the fridge or in the freezer for about, I would say about 3 to 4 hours, and then take them out about 5 to 10 minutes before you want to eat them so they can thaw a little bit so they're not like rock hard. And then you can enjoy. And this is how you can make a beautiful, delicious, and nutritious, guilt-free dessert yourself for the summer. I love strawberries. Let me get my cloth to clean up a little bit. And then I'll see if there's any questions. All right, move this off as I bring it closer. Yes. Yeah, I love Gloria. I bought the cheesecake pan as part of my raw food chef course, and I don't use it a ton, but I do love to use it. It's just
Yeah, I was going to ask you where you found it. Was it a kitchen store or
I think I got it at Superstore.
is that right? I'll
Yeah,
have to look there.
I
Yeah.
did that, or I
Walmart,
went online and
Walmart,
Amazon or something. Yeah, I'm sure you can
Walmart
find these
too.
all over, but these are like this is a mini cheesecake. It's great.
Yeah.
Let me shake
And more,
checking it
thank
now.
you.
Check
My
Walmart.
other one is starting to melt. Let me get a little plate to put it on. Should have thought of that. They're starting to melt a little bit. So they're perfect to eat right now. Ooh. Ah. So I took it out. And then there's the little thing is on the bottom. It just comes right
Oh,
off.
that looks so good.
And there you have a
Send
cheesecake.
some my way.
Aha.
How many did you make?
I have.
I'm coming over to get some.
All right. Yum, yum.
You should have came here. You should have came.
You see
That
a
looks
little
so
bit of
good.
my strawberry jammy thing in there too. Not the cleanest thing. You could probably pop one of these bites into your mouth. It's like a 2-bite brownie, right? Yum. And it's got that beautiful strawberry, little bit of hint of banana. I am not a banana fan, I will say, but when it comes to like, I think I don't like bananas, the texture, but I'm okay with the banana flavor in a dessert. And the other little trick is you can actually make like a little nice cream and ice cream just by blending up some ripe bananas. Like literally, that's all you need. Blend up your bananas or your fruit. Like I love to do like a mango sorbet. All I do is blend some frozen mangoes with a little bit of lime juice or lemon juice, or you could use orange juice, so some citrus, and put it into little cups you could put it into these little bite-sized things into the freezer, and you can just pop one. You got to let it thaw a little bit, but oh, what a great frozen treat, and so simple to make too. All right, any questions? I'm just going to wash my hands while you think about that. Get that strawberry shortcake off of my fingers here. All right, so let me get the recipe to pop in the chat for you. And I also have a couple of announcements you may have seen today. I was busy, and OJ and I were busy sending out a thing. Here's the recipe there. You can link to the recipe right there. And next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is 1 hour before this time, I will be doing a webinar. So we're going to talk about how we can be rooted and reboot and feel better. I've got some great tips for you. So that's going to be next Tuesday at 11 a.m. I got to you can sign up for the webinar. I'll be sending out a bunch of emails, but you can sign up with this link here too. It's going to be an hour and a half long, and love to have you come and share some of the things that I have been learning over the past little while. I'm very excited about it. So it's about nutrition, but it's also about how we can work as women with our own, instead of being in the hustle culture and all this diet and all this other stuff, how we can work as women to really make changes to our lifestyle that'll be sustainable, which is what I am all about, that makes simple, sustainable changes. And the other thing that I sent out a Happy Canada Day thing on Tuesday when it was July 1st for Canada Day. And if one of the things I'm doing over the summer is to finish my nutrition and detox certification, I have done the program, but I have some things to finish off. One of them is to do a health history for 12 people. And if you are interested, you don't have to have any health issues. It's all private and confidential. But if you're interested in helping me to get my certification, I would love to do whole health history. And I can provide you with some recommendations on how things that you might do to help improve whatever is your biggest health challenge. So I'm going to put the link. It takes about, depending, an hour to an hour and a half, usually an hour and a half when we chit chat as well and talk, but we can keep it to an hour if you're okay. But you can book a call. It's free, complimentary. It's really to help me move forward in my program, as well as you to get some idea of maybe some things that you can do to improve whatever your biggest health challenge is. So I would really appreciate just people in my community helping me to get to that end goal of that certification. My goal is to be certified by the end of the summer. And yes, and I'm working on a research paper as well for that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me today.